Well, the Crystal Palace had been a very, very popular dance hall in the 1930s, 40s and 50s. The place was just always packed. It was just a very, very full dance hall. And it was when Phil Warren approached me and said, "Why don't you put a Dixieland band together and we'll go and try the Crystal Palace?" And it all happened from there. The dance hall itself was basically a very plain dance hall. There was nothing fantastic about it, of course, and being downstairs, the only windows were at one end because we were down the side of a hill under the Crystal Palace. Well, it suited us. The bandstand was in the middle of the hall and it was just a good atmosphere. One of the times I went down to the lab recording studio in the old dance hall, well, the first thing I noticed was the stage that we used to use was now the drum booth, where they'd all seal it off to keep the drum sound down in the recordings. But other than that, it looked exactly the same to me. I do have pictures taken by the photographer at the time called Reichenberg, and he's got a photo of the outside of the doorway in the Crystal Palace, and the street is full of people waiting to get in at 8 o'clock.
To turn this place into the studio, it was kind of partly a studio already. Those ceilings have got a slant. The room had already been partially made into one. They'd had the dividing wall behind me was already there. The refit in 1997, it went pretty smoothly. It turned it from being like the little tiny project studio into the big place that it is now. Polishing the floors, massive undertaking, rebuilding the control room twice, putting in a window twice, enclosing the little isolation booth in walls to make it into a booth rather than a stage. New console, which was a big endeavour, that one. But it's a beautiful console in there, really lovely, and it works great now. But it was a pretty scary process, like going, okay, we're just ripping everything out, starting again. I've got a session in 4 weeks' time. This has got to work. The things that make this big old building so good for being a studio is the fact that, first of all, always had music in it from the time it was built. It's kind of nice to keep that legacy going. The isolation booth was once the stage. The main room where the musicians perform is generally, that's the dance floor. The building itself, the way it's built, the ceilings mean that we didn't have to do any major rework of the building to stop it having bad echoes and things. It's good for sound already. It was always good for sound, and so we just sort of inherited that from the original design. Every time I come here, it's like, you sort of rock up and it's this beautiful old building. It's had its ups and downs. I'm very grateful to be in a space as large and as sort of storied as it is. Working in a heritage space like this, it's a privilege, really. Just lucky to have a place like this.